And this is why I stay away from my career. CJ Flyer back with another YouTube video. In today's video, we have yet another NBA 2K24 My NBA Restart Rebuild Challenge, aka the Blow It Up Challenge, in which we are taking an NBA team starting five. We're trading all of them, just get rid of them all, trade them for a whole new lineup, and see if we can win the NBA championship within that same season. So far, we have accomplished that for one team, that being the Los Angeles Clippers. Spoiler alert, I guess I should have put that before I said that, but there you go. We've done it so far for one team. The rest of the teams we've done it for, a couple of them we made it to the conference finals, but so far at minimum we've made the playoffs. The worst one by far was definitely the last video with the Memphis Grizzlies, losing in the first round. But now here we are, Atlanta Hawks, and let's see what we can do. So we got Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, and then of course we have DeAndre Hunter. We have Clint Capella-Okongwu is coming off the bench, so we actually get to keep him. And then right now, as it stands, Jalen Johnson is starting at power forward, and Bogdanovic is coming off the bench. So we have a couple guys that we may or may not keep. It depends, if they end up being the second piece in a trade deal, well then they're out, out the window. But we are not required to actually trade those two guys. It's just Trae Young, Murray, Capella, Hunter, and Johnson. So let's go ahead, get right into it. Okay, so as we've done in past videos, we're going to start with the trade finder. We've tried to propose our own trades before for aging superstars, aka LeBron James, and the Lakers just refused to give up all the free publicity. Understandably so, I suppose, but it is the oldest player in the NBA. Anyways, I'm gonna, we'll stop complaining about that. Let's go ahead and start looking at some of these offers here for Trae Young. And right off the bat, this is an awful, awful offer. What in the world is this, Philly? I don't want that at all. This one's looking pretty good. Again, we don't have to trade Bogdanovic, but, if he's included in the package, we'll throw him out to the other team. Trae Young and Bogdanovic for DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. I think that's a pretty great trade. This one sucks. This one is okay. Duncan Robinson was putting on the moves the other day on Wembanyama against the Spurs. Okay, this one's looking bad. Man, a lot of bad trade offers, and then some. This one's pretty good. Bruno Fernando for Mitchell Robinson. So we got a couple good ones, more than a couple good ones. Look at that, Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. So we have some choices to make. Miles Turner and Bruce Brown. That one doesn't get me excited. This one does not get me excited. We could get both Bogdanovic's on the same team. Pascal Siakam and Dennis Schroeder. We got Şengün and Van Vliet. We got, a lot of the same names we've seen before. This package here, Bradley Beal and Bol Bol, comes up quite a bit. Malcolm Brogdon and Robert Williams. And then Kuzma. And yeah, that's about it. Okay. So right now, my top three packages that are being offered for Trae Young. We got DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine. We got Brunson and Mitchell Robinson. And we got Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. Those are the three that I like the most. Now, what I will say about this package here is the fact that we got to give up two starters to get these two guys. But if we look at the Knicks package, we're only giving up one starter and a bench player to get a starter quality center and Jalen Brunson. So that is something we have to keep in mind. And then, of course, DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, two very popular names, both been playing on Chicago the past couple years, and they've had their ups and downs. They've had good moments. People may forget with how bad the Bulls have been recently, but there was a point in time in which they were like the number one seed in the East for the first half of the season, and then the injury bug hit them. DeRozan was an MVP candidate. I mean, he wasn't going to win it that year, but he was still in like the top 5, I think, at some point. A lot of people, short-term memory, you might forget it, but these guys are not bad players. They're very good. And this is quite the offer indeed, especially since Bogdanovic is already 31 years old. Of course, this is a one-year simulation, so the age, it doesn't really matter as much. It's more injury concerns and endurance. But as far as, if this were ever a long-term rebuild, this looks pretty good too. So I'm going to look at that, and then also want to see what offers we get for Murray just to see how they compare. So right here we have we have some really bad offers. I mean, what is this? really, would anyone actually do this trade? I don't think so. At least I sure hope not. The Desmond Bain one, that's okay. Tyler Hero, that's looking okay. A lot of these are just looking up. Well, here we go again. Brunson and Mitchell Robinson. Now, the Trae Young package is definitely better than this one because, you know, Clint Capella versus Bruno Fernando. I mean, come on. What else we got here? Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell. We got Cole Anthony and Fultz. We got Derek Lively and Tim Hardaway Jr. We got Nick Claxton. That's a good one. Aaron Gordon. That's a good one right there. Buddy Hield, Valanciunas, Jalen Duren, and Bogdanovich. This is probably the best offer so far. OG Anunoby, Şengün, and Van Fleet. And then we got Vassell, we got Nurkic. What else we got? Anthony Simons, Draymond Green. Keep on going down the line. That's it. So these ones obviously are not going to be as good as the Trae Young offers. But what we need to keep in mind now, this package right here, you know, if we go through with this one for DeJounte Murray, what's the option for Trae Young? So if we do the DeJounte Murray and Clint Capella to get Brunson and Mitchell Robinson, we have a point guard and we have, I mean, we're done with the center position because we're keeping a Okongwu. Now here we do Trae Young and Bogdanovich, then we have a shooting guard and small forward. So then all we need is the power forward position, and then the other deals that I liked here, yeah. So, you know, DeJounte Murray, even though this package is better than the DeJounte Murray and Clint Capella package, you know, I might still go with the DeJounte Murray one just so we can go through and do our thing here to go ahead and get, where was the package again? Here we are. DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead, we're going to go back and accept the trade with the Knicks here. So let's go ahead, go in, accept the trade, and then let's go back, trade finder. Once again, Trae Young. This time, oh, well, this wasn't here before. I mean, this is a whole lot better than what was being offered earlier. Now, of course, you know, we already have Jalen Brunson. Do we really want to add Tyrese Maxey to the mix? And now, of course, we're not getting the Zach LaVine offer here. We're getting a James Harden offer. That would be worth considering. Obviously, you know, in real life, I would definitely not do this trade. But for 2K purposes, it is worth considering. So that Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan offer seems to be off the table now, maybe, just because of the way the roster is constructed. Let me see if we can just go over to the Bulls and make it happen. And sure enough, it pops up. So, and heck, they're even throwing in a draft pick now. Yeah, okay. Well, let's go ahead and do it then. Let's go ahead. We'll get Zach LaVine. We'll get DeMar DeRozan, excuse me. And now if we look at the roster, we've traded away 3 starters. We've got Brunson, DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Mitchell Robinson, and then we still have DeAndre Hunter and Johnson to trade away. We have Okongwu coming off the bench. So we're good at the center position for sure because, you know, we also have Bruno Fernando sitting there. We have Sadiq Bey coming off the bench for the forward spot. And then after that, we got Patty Mills as a backup point guard. We got Wesley Matthews, who's 37 years old now. We got Garrison Matthews, who can also shoot the ball. So right now, I would say our focus should probably be the shooting guard, small forward position as far as, you know, the remaining roster pieces. So let's go back in, trade finder. Let's go ahead to DeAndre Hunter here and see what we can come up with. DeAnthony Melton, that would be okay. We don't need Brook Lopez. We already traded away Bogdanovich. We're not going to take him back. Norman Powell, that would be okay. It's not too bad of a pickup. No Terry Rozier. I don't prefer him. Emmanuel Quickly, Rui Hachimura, and Gabe Vincent. Okay. Tim Hardaway Jr. and Derek Jones Jr. That wouldn't be too bad. I'd be willing to take that on. Dorian Finney-Smith for the defense and Royce O'Neal. We got Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield's a scoring option. Obi Toppin. What else? Anything else good? We got some centers popping up, but we don't really need the centers as we already discussed. We got Lou Dort there, Michael Conley, Andrew Wiggins, Gafford, and that'll just about do it. Let's go ahead and look at the Jalen Johnson offers here. We got Mo Bamba popping up, but we don't really need him. A lot of good centers popping up, or even role player centers. Miles Bridges is coming up. Emmanuel Quickly again. A lot of the same players that we saw in the previous offers are popping up right now. Trey Murphy, that would not be a bad pickup. Ooh, we can get Boban as a backup on the bench. That would be nice. Kyle Anderson, Kevon Looney. Why do I keep listing center names? I already said we don't need centers. Why am I rambling off the names of the centers? Miles Bridges and the Ish Smith trade, as much as I like Patty Mills, this one makes the most sense, I would say, as far as a Jalen Johnson trade. So I think we're going to go ahead and go with that one. Yeah, I think that's probably our best bet. Trey Murphy, though, that would not be too bad either. Is there anyone else? Did I miss someone earlier? Kyle Anderson. I don't think I missed him. Who else? Come on, there was someone else that I think I missed. I don't like having Miles Bridges on the team in real life, but for 2K purposes, I suppose we can allow it. So let's do it. Let's go ahead. We'll accept the trade. Miles Bridges and Ish Smith for Jalen Johnson and Patty Mills. They've accepted. And now we have one player left to trade. Sorry about that. Meant to go to the trade finder. Let's go in and see if any offers changed. It doesn't look like any of them changed so far. If we go over, yeah, so the Tim Hardaway deal is still available. This time Ish Smith in place of Patty Mills. And then the Dorian Finney-Smith. This one actually might be good because we really don't need Bruno Fernando. There's just no need for him on the roster. He's not going to get playing time. Meanwhile, I can see points in time in which Finney-Smith and Royce O'Neal both get some playing time. So that might make more sense. Obviously, Tim Hardaway Jr. is a scorer, but do we really need him? We already got scorers on the team. So I don't see him as needing to be that guy on this team. Derrick Jones Jr., he's definitely stepped it up for the Mavs so far this season. But we give up our backup point guard here. So I think we're going to go through with this deal as long as none of these other ones changed. I'm not seeing any differences at all. I'm not seeing anything. I just took a look at that Andrew Wiggins trade again. Nope. Okay, we're going to go ahead and accept the trade from the Nets to get Dorian Finney-Smith and Royce O'Neal. And now if we go ahead and take a look at the rotation, let's go ahead and rebuild. And we see we have Jalen Brunson at point guard, Zach LaVine at shooting guard, DeMar DeRozan at the small forward, Miles Bridges at the power forward, and I guess we're starting Okongwu instead of Mitchell Robinson. I see them as interchangeable right now. Mitchell Robinson is the sixth man. Dorian Finney-Smith, we got Sadiq Bey, AJ Griffin, Royce O'Neal. Ish Smith is not getting playing time as of yet. I'm curious to see what the CPU will do as far as putting in a backup point guard. Is that AJ Griffin? Is he he's a small forward shooting guard. Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan can obviously handle the ball, so I'm sure that's probably what's going to happen in the simulation. But overall, I do like our roster. Are they a championship roster? If I were to really take a hard look at this roster, I would say they're like a slightly better version of the Chicago Bulls. Maybe not slightly better. They're definitely better than the current Chicago Bulls. But I don't know that this team's got a whole lot going for it as far as championship aspirations. We do have a little bit of depth, though. I do like having Finney-Smith and Sadiq Bey off the bench, as well as a decent center. So this might play out well. Let's go ahead and see. Let's go ahead, start the simulation, and see what happens. All right, Ja Morant gets the MVP Rookie of the Year. You already know. I don't even need to say it. Sixth Man of the Year, Cam Thomas on the Brooklyn Nets with 22 points per game, shooting 40% from three. Defensive Player of the Year, Giannis. Most Improved, I don't know how to say his name, I'll be quite honest, so I'm not even going to try. Clutch Player of the Year, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Coach of the Year, Tom Thibodeau on the New York Knicks getting the first seed in the conference? What? Okay. And then Executive of the Year as well, the Knicks. So the Knicks got, if I recall, they got DeJounte Murray and Clint Capella for Jalen Brunson and Mitchell Robinson, and I guess that gave them 55 wins on the season. So if we go ahead now and start looking through, do we see any familiar names here? Absolutely no one. Oh, Trae Young, there you go. And the Chicago Bulls made the All-NBA third team. There are absolutely 0 Atlanta Hawks here on any of these All-NBA teams. And then if we go ahead looking through Defensive Players of the Year, again, nothing, no Hawks, nothing to write home about, nothing at all. So at the start of the season, it was a very rocky start, and the Hawks actually had a losing record, but towards the last couple months ended up winning a ton of games and getting some momentum heading into the playoffs and pulling out the 6th seed by 1 game. Way too close for comfort. This was almost the first one of these that we've done where the team did not make the playoffs and had to settle for the play-in. So glad that we were able to hold on. And we are actually tied for the 4th, but I guess we lose the tiebreaker to the Celtics and the Cavs here with 45 wins apiece. New York, as I just said, they got the first team in the conference. Miami Heat, the 2nd seed. And again, these Celtics, I'm telling you, they're getting this 5 and 6 seeds, and they're going to somehow make it to the conference finals every single time. And same with the Bucks. I will be shocked if the Bucks do not get out of the play-in, but we'll just see what happens. Everything else, not really a surprise here. And then as for the Western Conference, the Lakers, the number 1 seed, Thunder number 2 seed, Memphis number 3 with their MVP and Ja Morant. And then there's, oh my gosh, the Mavericks barely making the play-in. That's sad to see. Some other surprises, I would say the Phoenix Suns not even making the playoffs. Same with the Timberwolves, who right now in real life are just looking incredible. So let's go ahead now, start looking at some of these stats for our team. And right off the bat, we have the point leader on the Atlanta Hawks, who is injured day to day, Zach LaVine, 24 points per game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. We got Jalen Brunson, who's got 22.5 points per game with 5.5 assists and nearly 1 steal. DeMar DeRozan, 20 points per game. So we got 3 players here all getting 20-plus points per game. And then, of course, Miles Bridges coming in at 14 points per game. Sadiq Bey off the bench getting double digits in scoring as well. And then as for the rest of the players, Okongwu almost getting a double-double. Well, I guess not really almost, but he's up there in the stats column, you know what I'm saying, in the rebounds and the points. So he started most of the games, did pretty well. Mitchell Robinson started a few games here or there, just shy of 10 rebounds per game, but you know what, we'll just give it to him. Ish Smith getting a few assists off the bench. And then some of these other guys also playing. Royce O'Neal playing every single game this season for about 1 quarter per game. Wesley Matthews got in. Heck, he even got a couple starts, looking pretty good. And his field goal percentage, it's all right. So yeah, all in all, looking pretty good. Now these New York Knicks, we need to take a look at them. What the heck happened? We just gave them the number 1 team in the East. DeJounte Murray getting over 20 points per game. And then Clint Capella getting over 10 rebounds per game. Yeah, what happened? Where are these percentages? They're pretty good, over 50% from the field. So, yeah, wow, we gave them a boost. Emmanuel quickly turned into their starting point guard and was producing. So, good for the New York Knicks. Good for them. As for the other teams, we go ahead and look at the Chicago Bulls. That's where Trae Young went, and Trae Young averaged over 30 points per game. Very good from him, 7 assists per game and 45% from three-point land. And then, of course, Bogdanovich, the other player that they got. He started in some of their games, 14 points per game, and his percentages were fairly okay as well. Over on the Charlotte Hornets, Jalen Johnson, who is starting for the Atlanta Hawks, he's getting 8 points per game, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. That's a pretty good stat line for him, I say, although it is a losing team, so you would hope he'd get even higher stats, but nonetheless, he is doing something on somewhere, so good for him to be contributing on a roster elsewhere. And then the Brooklyn Nets got Bradley Beal? What happened over here? They were making moves. Oh my goodness. So DeAndre Hunter started for a few games. He got 12 points per game, 3 rebounds, and assist. Yeah, and then, wow, what the heck happened? How did they get this roster? This is insane. Look at this. And then Ben Simmons producing 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal. I mean, he's looking like LeBron James light minus the scoring. Wow. Okay. Good for the Nets, but what the heck is that trade? We have to go ahead and take a look at that, see what the CPU did here, because that is insane. Towards the trade deadline, the Suns trade Bradley Beal and Medu for Cameron Johnson and Spencer Dinwiddie. So they ended up getting, I mean, I guess Dinwiddie can play point guard, and then Cameron Johnson. Okay, very interesting. I would not have expected that. We got some other trades going on in here as well. The Bucks breaking up the Lopez brothers, trading Robin Lopez to Minnesota. And other than that, nothing too big. Oh, the Mavs trade Tim Hardaway Jr. for Kyle Lowry a year too late. What else we got? Mavericks making more trades, trading Dwight Powell and Seth Curry for OKK. And then the Jazz trading Lauri Markkanen to the Blazers. Why the Blazers went Lauri Markkanen? I mean, I guess, okay. Yeah, okay. You know what? I'm not going to question anything here. We're just going to move forward. You know, we're the 6th seed. Who am I to question anyone? Okay, let's go ahead, simulate the play-in, get to the playoffs, matched up against the Philadelphia 76ers, who I believe have their standard roster. Yeah, they didn't really make any moves outside of that Harden trade, of course. Everything else seems to be the same. So let's go ahead and start simulating the games. Oh, winning game 1. Okay, good start. You know what? The fact that we even got 2 wins. If we somehow win this series, I mean, that would be incredible. I don't expect it. Don't expect it at all. But if we can come back from this 3-2 deficit, I mean, more power to the Hawks. Going down early, now it's kind of neck and neck, back and forth, back and forth. Here we are, approaching the 4th quarter, and 5 minutes left to go, down by double digits. That's not a good look. Probably going to end up losing this one, and indeed, the Hawks have been eliminated. Let's go ahead and simulate the rest of the playoffs here. And what did I tell you? Into the Eastern Conference Finals is the Boston Celtics. What a shocker. Western Conference Finals MVP Zion Williamson. Eastern Conference is Jimmy Butler. So it looks like it's going to be the Heat and the Pelicans facing off. Like I said, the Celtics just they're always there. Never doubt them. The Bucks didn't make the playoffs, surprisingly. I wonder if they barely lost their play-in game. That's my assumption. Can we see the? Okay, there we go. So they lost this game. Bucks. How close was it? A 1-point game. See, I told you. I told you. All right, simulate the round, and it is going to be the New Orleans Pelicans winning the championship. Zion Williamson, the finals MVP, 31 points per game, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal, and a block. My goodness. What an incredible stat line. Good for the Pelicans, bad for the Atlanta Hawks. Let me know in the comments down below what you would have done differently to get us out of the first round. Like and subscribe for more of these NBA 2K24 My NBA videos, and I will see you all on the next one. Peace.